Okay, we're on Zayin Amud Beis. We're about 2/3 of the way down. We didn't finish yesterday's daf. Tan Rabbanan Ish. It's the on Zayin Amud Beis. Tan Rabbanan. The Rabbanan learn Ish. It says Ish. It says by Arayis. The pasuk is that Ish el karshay b'sari le'sikru v'gayas erva. A person to his basari, his relative to his flesh, cannot come close to Legala Serva to be Megala Erva. Now it says Ish twice. So in fact, it says Ish. That's fine. You could have said Ish and stopped there. Matam lemer Ish Ish. Why is it coming to say Ish Ish twice? The extra pasuk is L'Rave says Kusim. And just like we said on Avan Aleph that all the times it says Kusim means Goyim, over here also it says Kusim means Goyim. So it's being marred by Goyim, Shemuzharan al Arayis Ki Yisrael, that they have the Surim of Arayis like a Yid. We learned this out from Ish Ish. We already said we learned out Lamar. We said that in the pasuk says that Hashem said to Adam Rishon, "Ve'itzav Hashem as Adam," and it says Lamar. We said Lamar is Arayis. So how come we're saying that we learned it from Ish Ish? What's going on? If the Gemara Hasan Barayis did who Hasan Barayis did the over there where the pasuk of Lamar is coming to tell me about the arayis of a guy, their arayis, and vahacha, the pasuk of Ish Ish, the extra Ish, is barayis didan. Is coming to be marbe our arayis. The Ketani Seifa, because this is what it says in the Seifa of that very brisa. All arayis Yisrael nidin b'dini Yisrael. If somebody, a guy is boil arayis of Yisrael, he gets the halachas of a Yisrael. He's judged like a Yisrael. In fact, so what do you mean he's judged like a Yisrael? Amrav Nachman, Amrav Barav. This is coming to tell you that he's going to need Eidah, he's going to need 23 dayanim, and on the Eidim, and he'll need Hasra. In fact, the Gemara, Migra Gara, this is worse. In other words, normally you say a guy is more, everything's more chamer by a guy, right? But here, if he goes and is mizana with a gaita, then one aid, one dying could kill him. No hasra could kill him. But if it's a yid he's mizana with, a yidino he's mizana with, it's going to be much harder. You need 23 aidim, you have 23 dayanim, and 2 aidim, and hasra. What's going on over here? Elam Rav Yechlan says, no, I'll tell you pshat. The reason why I needed to tell you this is Elo Lenara Hamarasa. A case of a Nara Marasa. If a guy is Bayal and Nara Marasa, Diddle Laslu, they, the Goyim, don't have this musig of Nara Marasa that once she's engaged, she's not fully married, so they're not memes on it. The Daidin Lahu Bedina Didan, that we judge him with our din. And Rashi says, not that we give him 23 dayanim and 2 Eidim and Asra. No, we still could kill him with 1 Eidim, 1 dayan and no Asra. But we give him the misa that he would get if he was mizana with an Aram Marasa.
Someone's girlfriend is amchuv, you're not married.
We're going to talk about girlfriends on Amud Beis. We discussed that. We touched on it yesterday, and the Gemara is going to talk about it on Amud Beis. That we judge him with our din, with the din Torah. The Gemara, and the Ishas Ish, we judge with their dinim. In other words, it means that not skila like an Aram Rasa, not the chenek like a Yisraelis, but we said always the guy's misa, generally speaking, is going to be sayif, right? But Tanya, we learned in a brisa, bal Aram Rasa, someone who's bail an Aram Rasa needing skila is going to get skila. Now that we just said that, so that's not a kash yet. But it says al Eishas Ish need the mechenek. For an Eishas Ish, he's going to get chenek. Did who Saifu. And if a guy should be getting the din of Goyim, well, the din of Goyim by an Eishas Ish should be Saif. Right? So Rav Nachman Yitzchak, my Eishas Ish Diktani, I'll tell you what's pshat. When it says Eishas Ish, it's talking about a specific case. She was nichnas al-chapa, so she's in a suah. But he was never boil her. So they didn't what they call consummate marriage. So Diladid to Leslu, they don't hold that will be the Goyim don't hold that that's considered quote unquote married yet. But we do. Why do the Goyim not? How do you know the Goyim don't hold that? Because Rashi says we have the pasuk by Avraham Avinu when Avimelech kidnapped Sarah. Nothing happened, but it says Yehibu Lasbal that that why didn't you tell me that she's a married woman? That she had a bia because Avraham and Sarah were living together for many years at that point. So you see that it's totally in the bia. Mashmef, not for the bia, even though she was nesua, it would have been okay for Avimelech. Like that wouldn't have been a problem, right? So you see that the nechlas al chap v'lay nivla the two leslahu the nina lahu b'dina didan. That we judge them with our din, and he would get chenek. And the reason why he would get chenek in this case is because there is no judgment, there is no halach like that by goyim. We're saying by the halachas of a guy that they have a punishment for, then you give them their punishment. When they don't have a punishment for it,
what they do? I don't understand.
because in a society that's run according to the Rebbeinu Shalom, goyim also have chiyuvim. Goyim are a part of the society, and they have to listen to the Torah.
Nowadays, they listen to nobody.
Nowadays, listen. No, that's not true. They listen to the law, and sometimes they don't listen to the law. And sometimes some of the people who don't listen to the law go get caught and get in trouble, right? But remember, we were talking about it that you need to have dinim, and we have dinim, and we use the mashal of Congo, right? There's no dinim, right? So I don't know Congo specifically, but all these third world African country in South America, corruption is terrible. Mexico, corruption is terrible. So since there's no penalty in that case of a nichnas al chap v'lay nivala, there's no penalty by the goyim. A guy who does that will get the penalty by the yidden, and the penalty will be that he'll get chenek. That's why the Brisa says that's the case where the Brisa says chenek. The Tani Reb Chanina, because Reb Chanina learned in a Brisa, ba'ulas baal yesh lahem, the concept of ba'ulas baal that makes marriage they have nichnas al chap v'lay nivala, what we would call nesuin, but with no bia after it. Inland they don't have that concept. That's not considered married to them. Tanya Kavas Reb Yochanan, we learned the Brisa like Rabbi Yochanan. Kol erva shebezin shal Yisrael v'misan alaha v'noich mozar alaha. Any erva that a bezdin of Yisrael would kill on it. In other words, that a yid who did that avera would get misa. Ben noach mozar alaha. Ben noach has that iser, and he would also get the punishment which we said on Zayin Amar Aleph, get Misa. Ein Bezdin Shal Yisrael Misa Naleh, if a Bezdin of Yisrael does not kill on it, Ein Ben Noach Muzar Aleh, Dibur Rab Meir. Rab Meir holds that a Ben Noach does not have an Isser. So if a Bezdin of Yisrael does not kill, the Ben Noach is not chayiv on it. But if a Bezdin of Yisrael, what?
Well, why didn't you use the washing of Mesa? Like Muzer, has a different meaning.
We said this on Amar Aleph. The Gemara asked this on Amar Aleph. The Gemara says, why does the Gemara say Muzer in a situation where it means Mesa, where it means that they get killed? The Gemara says, Rashi explained that we're not worried so much with the Lashon by Goyim. We're not being medacting the Lachs by Goyim. Rashi says,
forget about it.
That's the third wide line on Zayin Amar Aleph. The Dana is not medayik so much to say Misa by Chivi Misas and Azhara when there's no Misa with it. Kil Gabi Yisrael like it does by Yisrael. I probably should have started a couple words earlier. It's clever. Kol Azhara the Tana Gabe B'nei Noach Zuye Misa. Any has heard that the Tana says by Bnei Noach, that means Misa. So over here also talking about Misa, it's pretty much the same Brisa. I'm not sure if it's exact same Brisa or similar Lashon.
Part of the bigger Lashon because it's called
right.
That's Misan Banach Muzer.
Right. But that's why I said Banach Muzer. When I translated it, it means in Muzer and he's going to get Misa, right? Because of the Gemara we had in Amar Aleph. So, but. If Ben Noach is, if Ben Yisrael is not killed on it, Ben Noach has no Isra on it. And the Chum say, Harbor Rice, and one second, the situation that Rab Meir is coming Lafuke is talking about the ervas that we have, like a person who's Bail's sister, right? That we said he's going to get karas. These cases will get karas. They don't get misa b'dei adam. So we're saying that Rameir is saying that for a guy it's not usher. The guy is allowed to be Bail's sister. Yeah, that's what we're saying. They don't have access. We're going to actually talk about this concept a lot on today's Daf Yomi Sanhedrin. but according to Meir, but the Chacham say no. The Chacham say Harbe Arayis Shein Bezdin Shalisoma Misan Alein. There's a lot of Arayis that a Bezdin of Yisrael would not be famous on them. They don't get Misi B'dei Adam. Uvenoich Mizra Alein, but Venoich does have Azhar on them. And now the Brisa continues. Boal Arayis Yisrael Nidim B'dini Yisrael. If a guy is Boal and Arayis Yisrael, he gets judged the Dinim of Yisrael, the Arayis that only by Yidin. Boal Arayis Ben Noyach, if he's only Boal and Arayis Ben Noyach, Nidim B'dini Ben Noyach. In other words, if they have their own halacha of what the punishment should be, he gets judged with their din. Of Anwein Lanu, and the only place we have as a difference would be between the Ben Noyach and the Ben Yisrael would be Al Naram Rasa Bulvad, because a Naram Rasa only, because a Naram Rasa they don't have any Isser by it, and we have an Isser by it, and therefore they would get Misa. But in the situation of Baal Arayis, so in a situation where they okay, and now the Gemara says we have a kasha because we said that there's going to be a case of Nara Marasa, that's the difference between them. But what about Nichlas El Chapfulai Nivola? We said that that's also a situation where the Goyim hold Bulas Baal, that's not
more than
right, and the Yidden hold that that's a Nesua, that's a mamash married woman. The Gemara should have said, the Brisa should have said also Nechlas El Chapfulai Nivola. If the Gemara Hay Tana B'Im Nashu, this Tana is the Tana B'Im Nasha, not a different Tana B'Im Nasha, but the one we had yesterday, but not 2 days ago, different than 2 days ago. The Amar Kal Misa Amur V'nei Noyach Ein El Chenek. But Tana B'Im Nasha holds that not like we learned this yesterday because he learns from the pasuk of Sheikh Adam Adam Dami Yishafech, but Adam Dami Yishafech, the kind of misa that keeps a person's blood in it while he's being killed, which is strangulation. So Tanvim Nasha learns that all the misas by Goyim are chenek, and therefore it's the same thing. If he's boil and ashes ish a guy, it would be a yid, it would be chenek, and boil and ashes ish of a guy would be chenek. Either way, it would be the same thing. So that's why the Gemara doesn't say, the Brisa doesn't say that that's a difference between the two, because either cheneku, they're both chenek. Fine. Now, track the Gemara. Now the Gemara is going to ask a kasha over here that's going to lead us into quite a complicated discussion. So let's see how we do it, because we haven't had any complicated Gemara so far. I'm set the Sanhedrin, so the Gemara wants to give us stretch us a little bit, okay? Does Rav Meir hold in any erva, any arayas that Bezdin of Yisrael kills on it, that a Benoich will get an aver? In other words, is it true that in every situation that a yid will get killed, a guy will also get killed? No. Is that true? But why are you saying no so quickly?
Different type of misa.
No, they'll get killed. Mozzarella. I think it's not as hard, like we said before, which means he's going to get his misa. Right? Is that true? Vatanya, we'll learn in a Brisa, l'chayra not like that. And remember, this is Rav Meir, so the Brisa is going to say Machlekes Rabban and Rav Meir, so we're going to have to keep an eye on what Rav Meir says to understand the steer that the Gemara is asking. Vatanya, we'll learn in a Brisa. Ger shahaisa hirasa shlai b'kedusha v'leidas b'kedusha. A ger. His mother became pregnant with him. His mother wasn't Jewish, and his mother became pregnant with him when she was not Jewish. And then while she was pregnant, she was Megayer. V'leidasai b'kedusha. So his harasa shlai b'kedusha, his pregnancy when he was conceived, his conception was shlai b'kedusha. His mother wasn't Jewish. V'leidasai b'kedusha, but by the time she became married, by the time he got married. I'm sorry. By the time he was born, she was Megayer. Now, he has Allah like a guy, but he has a very weird situation over here. Why? Because his harasa is shlai b'kedusha. But it's a weird situation over here because he was born from a Yiddish lady. His mother is a from lady. She covers her hair, right? So now Chazal are worried that people are going to mix this guy up with a regular Yid.
From the mother.
Because we see if we're matter things, let's say we know that a Gershon is Gayer, a Ger that's Megayer, and we're talking now that he was Megayer now, right? So now, the question is, who is he usher to? Really, he should be usher to nobody. Because really, he's not related to anyone. He's not related to his mother, he's not related to his sister, he's not related to what?
He's not related to his mother. Can't marry his mother.
Halachically, he's not related to his mother because he wasn't Jewish when he was born, and then he was Megayer. The Gershon is Gayer, I don't think so.
Really?
I think so.
Doesn't sit shiva for his
I
mother?
think so.
I don't know.
I think so. But it is a weird situation. But so now, but you have a problem over here. People will say two problems. One is you're going to say that is something that's mutter by him will be mutter by a regular person. Another problem Rashi brings down over here is that if people will say bon mikdusha chamur l'kdusha kala. This guy came from something that was much more chamur to something less chamur. When he was a guy, he was usher to marry his sister, let's say, right? And now he's going to be a mutter. He went down in kedusha, not up in kedusha. Right? So the Gemara says, what's halacha? Yesh le'sher ha'em, ve'en le'sher ha'av. He has a she'er ha'em. He's considered related to his mother's relatives and through his mother. So let's say his sister from his mother will be usher to him. But ve'en le'sher ha'av, he doesn't have a she'er ha'av related to his father. So let's say he has a sister only from his father. In other words, he has a sister who has the same father but a different mother. Then that will be considered not related. That will be considered not related.
You don't have to do it anyway.
What?
You don't have to do it now anyway. Right?
Okay, so what's the halacha? If he married his sister, who was a sister from his mother, he has to give her a get. Now he has to give her a get because really, Be'etzim and Torah he's allowed to marry her, right? But you don't. Chazal didn't let him stay married to her, and therefore he has to give her a get. Min ha'av, but he married his sister Min ha'av, his paternal sister, he can stay married to her. Now the Gemara is going to say later on that l'chatchila he's still not allowed to marry his sister from his father. But if he did, then he's going to stay married. Next case, echayis ha'av min ha'em. Let's say his father's sister, but his father's sister from his father's mother. So the sister, okay, this guy's father.
Like Yevamis now.
What?
Like Yevamis.
It's like Yevamis. It's actually, I believe it's a Gemara in Yevamis, actually. Yevamis had the Ches Abraham.
Sister from
Okay, his father has a sister.
Right. His aunt. Let's go slow. His aunt.
His aunt.
Okay.
But this
They're
aunt,
related? No.
this aunt is related to his father because they have the same mother.
Okay.
So it's his father's, right? His father's mother's daughter,
Which is his
aunt, right?
Okay.
But the relationship is through his father's mother, not his father's father.
Different father.
Different father, same mother.
Okay.
So, his father's sister from his mother, from his father's mother, Yaitzi, he has to divorce her. Min ha'av, his father's sister from his father's father, Yikayim, he can stay married. Achais ha'ein min ha'ein, his mother's sister from his mother, from his mother's mother, so his mother's mother's daughter. Yaitzi, he has to divorce her. Achais ha'ein min ha'av, if it's his mother's sister from her father, so his mother's father's daughter, that's machlekes. Rameir says he has to divorce her. The Chum say he could stay married with her.
Can be anywhere from his mother.
Right.
That's the bottom line. Or not, that's the bottom line, how you look at it.
Why? Because the Gemara says, Rameir would say, and this is what the Gemara is, we're going to get in the Kasha, any erva that's because of a relative to the mother, he has to divorce her. Because of the relative of the father, he could stay married. And he is mutter, this is mutter in his brother's wife after his brother dies, right? Because he's a ger, he's not considered related to his brother, so he's not considered related to his brother's wife. And his father's brother's wife. So now that we said his father's sister will be a problem if it's from the mother, and even the chatchila we're going to say even from the father's now. His father's brother's wife that's an extra step, you can mutter. Rishar kol arayis mutar aslay, and other arayis would be mutter. Lasuya ishisav. To be marbe, we're saying even his father's wife, after his father dies, would not be usher to him. Thus, Isha Avita, let's say he married a woman and her daughter. So Rashi says there's two possibilities to explain this case. Because how do you do this? If we're talking about somebody who's a Rasa Shlev Kedusha, like that's a Kedusha, and then he became a ger right away. Let's say right after he was born, he was 3, he was 13, he became a ger. So how did he marry the Isser of a lady and her daughter? So Rashi says we're not talking about that case. We're talking about either a case where a regular ger, and he had been married to 2 women, and the 2 women happened to be a mother and the daughter, and now they were Megayer with him also. So what's the halacha? So the halacha is Nasi Ishu Avita Kainis Achas Umeitzi Achas. He can stay with one, but he has to divorce one. And in all these cases that we said Yikayim Lo Yichnais, he still can't. He still should not do it lechatchila to make such a shidduch, right? Because what? Yeah, Mesa Ishtai. If his wife dies, this ger mutter b'chamaisai. He's mutter in his mother-in-law. In other words, his wife's mother. What? Yeah. And some say he's usher in his mother-in-law. So now, what's the kasha, right? Just 1 second. We have to know what the kasha is over here. I think the kasha is because an erva, Rameir said that any erva that Best in Yisrael is meimus on, a ben noyach will be aser, and over here I think we're seeing that there are arayas. Yeah, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a whole bunch of situations where it would be mutter for a guy.
Marry his own sister.
Right, and it will be usher for, and Bezin Yisrael will be meimus on them. Not achaisai, because we said achaisai, Bezin Yisrael is not meimus on, but it says mutter be'ishasav. That's the one. Okay, it says that he's allowed to marry his father's wife. Right now, someone who's bail his father's wife, that is skila. We said, right?
Because she's married woman.
Not because she's a married woman, even after he dies. Right? So it says. So that's one case. It says that Best Yisrael is meimus on, and we're saying that the guy is mutter. The ger is mutter, and certainly the guy would be mutter. And then we said that a case that his usher and his sister and his achais avim and achais imai, and in those cases we said that Best Yisrael is not meimus on them. It's only karas. So you have 2 ways that Rameir is not a steer in Rameir over here. One is, he says that by us, he said that any situation where Bezdin would kill, then the guy would get killed also. And we see that's not so because Eshes Aviv, his father's wife, Bezdin would kill, and here it says his mutter. And the opposite, Rameir said that any situation where Bezdin of Yisrael would not kill its mutter is not true, because we're answering over here, let's say, achais aviv and achais imai, and in such a situation, Beis Mishal Yisrael would not be named on it. How could we answer it? So you have a steer and a mayor both ways. So the Gemara says, and for the Gemara, Amr of Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda says, there's two Rabbeirs. One Rameir had two Rabbeim. One Rebbe was Rabbi Eliezer, one Rebbe was Rabbi Akiva. He learned by both of them. Not at the same time, at different times. And in one place he's going like Rabbi Meir, and one like Rabbi Akiva, and one like Rabbi Eliezer. And the Gemara is going to bring down a brayso with the machlekes of Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Eliezer. And the machlekes is, what are the isurim of a guy to in Arayas, and we're learning it out from the pasuk like Adam Arishan. The pasuk says, "Al Kain Naz and Ish Zav Vesimai." Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva learn out from that pasuk what the isurim are. And now let's see it. Now hold on to tighten your seatbelt. It's going to get a little wild over here. Okay. Zag Gemara. The Tanya will learn in a brayso. Al Kain Naz and Ish Zav Vesimai. It says a person therefore will leave his father and his mother, and the pasuk continues with davak be'ishtoi. And I'm saying the rest of the pasuk because the Gemara is going to dash it. Davak be'ishtoi, he'll connect to his wife. And they'll be like one flesh. That's what the pasuk says. Okay, so that's the Gemara. We're saying that he's not connected to them, right? We're darshaning that he is not able to stay connected to them, right? Why? Because he's not allowed to marry them.
Before he's married to his wife, he can marry them?
No, he can't. Also. But we're learning what the isurim are, what the gather is. I want to say that that's what it means. Hold on 1 second. I saw a Rashi over here.
Oh, his mother said probation with the sister of his mother.
What was that? What we're about to say. We didn't say that. Rashi on the Chumash says, on the pasuk Al Kain Yazavish, Rashi in Chumash says, Ruach HaKodesh Emeres Kain. Ruach HaKodesh is saying this, Lesser al Bnei Noach es Arayis, to Asher Bnei Noach the Arayis. Maybe the word is that the pasuk is saying they have to. They're coming close to connect, right? They weren't connected, and they're coming close to connect. But the people who were connected, he was connected to, those are the who is usher to, right? It could be that that's what.
Why is it changed? After you get married, before you get married, right?
But if a person is, if we're saying that the only time where Ben Noach is allowed to be V'hoyu L'Basar Echad is when they leave the people they were connected to before. So they can't be V'hoyu L'Basar Echad, they can't join in what we call like the holy matrimony.
Who's the L'Basar Echad before he's married? It's not L'Basar of his parents.
The Pasuk is saying that you can only be L'Basar Echad if
he's married.
Not if you're married. If you're allowed to be Yazav Adamas Avmas Ishtay, the Davak Be'ishtay, right? Davak Be'ishtay, right? You're allowed to do that in a situation where it's going to now become Davak Be'ishtay V'hoyu L'Basar Echad, where now they could be connected, but because they weren't connected before, and now they're connected. If they're connected before, they can't connect now. A person's connected to his mother, he can't go and marry her because he can't be V'hoyu L'Basar Echad.
Connected you before you marry. What's the difference?
So you can't connect in marriage. Right? That's not right.
You can't marry a mother whether you marry or not.
I understand. So the pasuk is saying you can't be V'hoyu L'Basar Echad for somebody who you're already connected to before. It's important. I think I'm explaining it. I may not be, and I'm not positive that this is pshat. I think it makes sense. And I think when we see the Gemara on Beis, if we get to it, I hope we get to it until we're getting late. I think when we see the Gemara on Beis, I think that it might be clearer. Like this. Okay, Dr. Gemara weiter. So the Brisa says this pasuk. Now the question is, how do you darshan it? Rabbi Eliezer Aimer. This is going to be a little cryptic, but then the Gemara is going to come later and explain Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva with much greater length. Rabbi Eliezer Aimer, Aviv achais aviv, imay achais imay. When the pasuk says Akin Yazav Ishas Aviv Ve'Simay, it means he's not allowed to marry not his father and his mother. It means his father's sister and his mother's sister. Rabbi Kiva Omer, when it says Aviv, in the pasuk it says Aviv, it means Eishes Aviv. He's not allowed to marry his father's wife. Imai Mamish. When it says Imai, it means he can't marry, he can't be boil his mother, Imai Mamish, his mother specifically. The Machlekes Rabbi Yosef and Rabbi Kiva is whether the pasuk is talking, and the Gemara is going to talk about this in great length, but just the Kali is there. When the pasuk is saying, Rabbi Yezer says it's talking about relationships of genetics, of brotherhood, it's coming to Taser Arayis because of relationships, because you guys are related to each other. And Rabbi Kiva is saying, Aviv Eishes Aviv, it's coming to Aser Arayis that come about through marriage. Okay?
Marriage of who? Parents or marriage of his?
We're going to talk about that. It's a good question. Okay, now the Gemara continues, the Brisa continues, and this part of the Brisa is Divrei Kol, everyone agrees. V'davak, it says V'davak, you should connect. V'davak v'ishta, you connect with your wife. V'davak v'lei b'zachar, not with a male. You can't have a marriage to a male and a male and a male. V'ishta, but this is no karfur, b'nei nayach. V'ishta, it says V'davak v'ishta, he's not allowed to marry, he's not allowed to be boil with his friend's wife. Boil the basar echad, and they'll be to basar echad. Literally, they'll be to make one flesh. What does that mean? It means that a guy is allowed to be boil somebody who can make basar echad from it. It's who's behema v'chaya, you can't make basar echad. If a person, a man is boil a lady, they could have a child. That's basar echad. If a man is boil a cow, can't have a child with a cow. Cow can't impregnate a woman, and a man can't impregnate a cow, right? So that's not the basar echad. So you see, that's the makar that it's aser for a chanayach to have revia, roiva, and nerva with a baby. Okay. Now that's the brisa. Period. Now the Gemara is going to explain the brisa. Amar Mar, we learned. Rabbi Yezer and Rabbi Lezer says Aviv achos Aviv. When it says Aviv in the pasuk, it's coming to be Marba achos Aviv. His father's sister is Asher to him. Ema Aviv Mamish. Well, why? Maybe it's coming to say that you're not allowed to be boil. A person's not allowed to be boil. A guy is not allowed to be boil his father, right? Right, which that's what it says. Yazavish Aviv, he leaves his father. Right, so he can't be boil his father. Where it says no, later in the pasuk we say Mishkav Zachar is Asr because v'davak Kalei Zachar. So you don't have to say it by the father that the father's Asr al Zachar. You have to say the father's sister is Asr. That's still considered the part of the father. It's still considered close to the father. That's a kurva, and that's considered a rayas. Frakti Gemara, very good. You're telling me it can't be the father, so it must be the father's sister. Maybe it's not the father's sister. Maybe it's his father's wife, is Asr to him. Yeah. Mar says no. We have that in the pasuk already also. It says a person's not allowed to be boil, a guy's not allowed to be boil his friend's wife. Now, his father's wife is his friend's wife. Right? So you don't...
Father, especially in the Torah, so you can't father's
That's true. That's true. Right? Right. And we said that it's coming to say even after Misa, right? Gemara says, Eimal Achar Misa. So maybe the pasuk is coming to say that your father's wife is usher to you, even though she's not your father's wife anymore because he died. Where it says Dumi the Imai. No, it's coming to say similar to Imai. Ma Imai de Lavishas. Just like when it says Imai, we're said it's talking about a Chais Imai. So it means I'm sorry, Imai, not Imai, Chais Imai. Imai is Imai is a chaysimai, right, which is not related through marriage. Af aviv glavishas. So we're saying when it's aviv, it's also talking about an isser of not through marriage, which means his father's sister, not his father's wife. Okay, so now we know that a guy is usher in his father's sister. Then Pasuk said Imai. Al Kenyas Ish Ad as Aviv as Imai. Gemara says, Rabbi Eliezer holds, that's talking about his father's sister. Maybe he's coming to say his mother's sister. Gemara says, no. We already learned that from the pasuk that says that a guy is not allowed to marry an Eish. Maybe it's coming to say after his father died, he's still usher in his mother, and his stepmother. I'm sorry, thank you. Where it says, Dumi the Aviv, it's talking just like the father, not Aviv Lav Mamish, just like when by the father, it's not specifically the father, right? Because we said it's not talking about the father, it's talking about the father's sister, Afimay Lav Mamish. The mother also is not talking about Mamish the mother, we know that already from it's not talking about the mother Mamish, it's talking about the mother's sister. That's Rabbi Eliezer's pshat. Rabbi Eliezer holds that the whole pasuk is revolving around the isurim of relationships that come through people being genetically, let's call it genetically connected, right? They share DNA, right? Rabbi Kiva says, here's a different pshat in the pasuk. Aviv means Eishas Aviv. When the pasuk says a guy is usher in his father, it doesn't mean his father, it means his father's wife. Maybe it's talking about Av Mamish. The Gemara says no. We have the pasuk that says Mishkav Zachar is usher. In fact, let's say that the father's wife should be usher. I'm sorry. Gemara says, you're telling me that when it said Aviv, it means Eishus Aviv, you don't need to tell us that because the pasuk says and his father's wife is Eishus Chaveroi. She's married to his father. Gemara says Lachar Nisa. No, so that's the when it says Imai. When it says Ishtai, I mean, it's two. I'm sorry, when it says, what was that? Right, when it says Aviv and it's talking about Eishus Aviv, it means Eishus Aviv even Lachar Misa. When now the pasuk says Imai, what does that mean? Imai Mama, she's usher in his mother. That already has that his father's wife is usher because she's an Eishus Ish.
How do you know?
Gemara says, no, Imai Menu Sasai. It's talking about an Imai from his father raped his mother. They were never married. So she's never an Eishus Ish. And therefore it's coming to say that he's still usher in his mother.
They're not married.
What?
They're not married.
Even though they're not married, they're never married. Right?
But that beer that made a marriage.
No, it wasn't a marriage. We're going to talk later, and Gemara number base is going to say, what's the criteria by Goyim for someone to be considered married? Okay? It's not so Russian. We'll see in see if we get to it. Let's try.
The Rambam brings out
The Rambam, that's because the Rambam learned in Chesed and Beis and Sanhedrin. But we didn't learn in Chesed and Beis and Sanhedrin yet, so we have to hold off for one more minute. Okay? We're going to get there. Yeah. Okay, so now the Gemara explains Rabbi Eliezer, the Gemara explains Rabbi Kiva. Correct the Gemara, what's the Machlekes? Mike and Mifaki, what are they arguing? Rabbi Eliezer Savar, Aviv, Dami the Imai, Imai, Dami the Aviv, Lamishkachla, Elabachva. It says Aviv and it says Imai. And you need a situation where the Isurim are the same. He says that you cannot say that Aviv is the father specifically and the Imai is the mother specifically, because the father you already have a Davakul B'Zachar. And you cannot say that the father means the father's wife and the mother means the mother's husband, because by the mother's husband is the same person as the father's wife. Right? In Ken Hainu Eishas Aviv, Rashi says. So it must be that we're talking about relationships. That's why he holds it has to be talking about the father's relative and the mother's relative. The Achais Av and the Achais Ein. That's what Rabbi Eliezer holds. Rabbi Kiva holds Mutiv La'ikri Beishas Aviv, Dikri Ervas Aviv, Afuki Achais Aviv. I'd rather say that the pasuk, when it says father, it's talking about the father's wife, which is called Ervas Aviv in other places in the Torah. Lafuke Achais Aviv, to exclude and not say that it means the father's sister, the share of Ikri, Ervas of Leikri. And when the Pasuk talks about a Chais Aviv, the Pasuk says it's She'erai, it's his relative, but not Erva. And over here it makes sense to say that we're talking about Arayas. By a person's wife, that's called Erva Savicha. A father's wife, it's called Erva Savicha. Okay. Now the Gemara wants to be Rayas. Who's right? Rabbi Eliezer's right or Rabbi Kiva's right? Tashma. Bring your Raya. What's the Raya? The Pasuk says, Vayikach Amram es Yecheved edasai. Amram married his aunt Yecheved. Right? Now we know a person's not allowed to marry his aunt after Matan Torah. But Amram was before Matan Torah, right? His father's sister, right? So now my love they dasim in aim. Maybe it's not his father's sister, it's his mother's sister. And what do you see? What?
You said before it's more.
You said that according to Rabbi Eliezer, a mother's sister is usher, right? And we're saying that you see that it's going to be mutter, because otherwise how could Amram marry Yecheved? In other words, it's not right. In other words, the Gemara's Havamina is that Yecheved was Kahas's daughter, right? So the Havamina of the Gemara is that we know she was Kahas's daughter, so the father didn't switch. But the question is, maybe she was Kahas's daughter and the same wife that Kahas had. So she was Kahas's daughter from Kahas and from the same wife as who Amram who was Kahas's nephew. Amram. We need a chart. Okay. Kahas. Amram was the son of Kahas. Yecheved was Kahas's sister. Yecheved was Kahas's sister. Amram married Yecheved, his aunt. Okay. Now the question is, how was Yecheved Kahas's sister? Was Yecheved Kahas's sister they had the same father? No, Amram was the son, Kahas's son. Amram was Kahas's son. But Kahas and Yecheved were brother and sister. So that's the question. The Gemara says, my love, l'chayr you could say that Kahas's mother and Yecheved's mother were the same person. They had the same mother. Right? And that teaches us that the father's sister from the father's mother, so the father's mother's daughter, will be mutter before Matan Torah. Right? And we said, according to Rabbi Eliezer, that's not okay. Right? The father, that's what we started the Gemara with, we said that's not okay. So the Gemara says, look, that doesn't have. So it was Amram was the son of Kahas. Kahas had a father, and that father had two wives, and with one of them he had Kahas, and one of them he had Yecheved. So they didn't have the same mother, Yecheved and Kahas. And sister from the father will be mutter. So according to Rabbi Eliezer says, no, that situation is mutter, so we're okay. So it's not a kasha on Rabbi Eliezer, right? Which we said, this is what we said all the way at the beginning. Father's daughter, for a guy,
that's his sister.
His sister, right? Father's daughter, his sister. No, his son's sister. His aunt.
Father's daughter.
Uncle.
Yeah.
Uncle had a father.
Yeah.
The father had a father. That father had a daughter also. So this Yankel and his sister, their sisters.
Right.
But they had different mothers. Yankel's allowed to marry that girl. His aunt.
His mother's the problem.
Not for a yid, for a guy before Matan Torah, for a guy, or the yid before Matan Torah, that halach like guy. So they're allowed to get married. So that's why the pasuk. That's why the Gemara is not a kasha. There's no kasha from the pasuk from Vayikacham Mastichay V'Dedasai. Okay. Gemara says, I'll bring another ayah. Tashma. Now we're going to Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu Sarah was kidnapped, and he had said, and I think it was Avimelech at Tainus, and you said she's your sister, right? Avram said, it's true, she's my sister, the daughter of my father. But not the daughter of my mother. The klal, the ba'aseim asura. You see that if it was the mother's daughter, then it would have been usher. In fact, the Gemara, and 1 second, and what's the kasha on? It's a kasha on Rabbi Akiva, because we're saying that a person's mother's daughter, which means his sister from his mother, will be usher. Rabbi Akiva said that girl will be mutter. Right? Rabbi Akiva says, but we're going to see it later on, that a guy is not usher to his sister, right? So now, if the guy is not usher to his sister, then why is it a problem? Then how can you say it's mashma that it was only because it was achaysi bas avi, that's why it's okay. But if it was ba'asimi, it would have been a problem, right?
This is further elucidation.
In fact, the Gemara v'tizbra. I'll ask you a question. No, say it again. Avram Avinu. We're really mostly talking about Goyim over here. Okay, Avram Avinu said to Avimelech, he said, You're the kind that I said it was my sister, right? It's true, it was my sister. Just it wasn't my sister from my mother, it was my sister from my father. Is mashma that if it would have been my sister from my mother, it would have been usher, right? And then you would have had a taina on me. But it's a sister from my father, so it's okay, right? So the Gemara is asking, so Rabbi Akiva holds that a sister from the mother is not usher. Right? So then how could Avraham Avinu have said that? What was Avraham Avinu saying according to Rabbi Akiva? The mashmas of Rabbi Akiva is saying is that a sister from the mother would be usher. According to Rabbi Akiva, the sister from the other
father was much easier. You said before. You said the last few lines of the Gemara that the father is much easier than the mother.
That's according to Rabbi Eliezer.
Right. This was made that the mother.
Right. Now we're asking Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says the whole thing that Torah is answering has to do with ishus, with relationships, right? But that means a person's sister, according to Rabbi Akiva, is not usher to him. I think Rashi says this first on Bad Moab and Aleph. Here, V'adiktani, that's the third wide line in Rashi. Well, the Gemara said before that we had exterior Rameir, and we're saying that one is Rameir according to Rabbi Akiva, one's Rameir according to Rabbi Eliezer. And we see this already makes sense because we see how divergent Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva's shittas are. So the Gemara says, in the middle of Rashi says, in the middle of the line, the Haidiktani chayvim misas nasrulam v'lei chayvim krisas. That it says that only chayvim misas are usher to bnei noyach and not chayvim krisas. Rameir v'yalim Rabbi Akiva. That's Rameir according to Rabbi Akiva. Who's chayvim krisas? A person's sister is chayvim krisas. Right?
From the who? Father and mother.
By a yid, it would be either one. Right. And by a guy, they're both, according to Rabbi Akiva, they both be mutter. Yeah? So the Gemara is saying the fact that you see that from Avraham Avinu was mashma that achaysi imay achaysi bas avi is okay, but achaysi bas imi would have been a problem. The pasuk is saying that it's the mashmos of the pasuk is that it would be a problem. According to Rabbi Akiva, according to Meir, according to Rabbi Akiva, it wouldn't be a problem at all, right? Because the ben noyach is not usher on a sister, according to Rabbi Akiva, right? So how could you say that's the kasha of Rabbi Akiva? In fact, the Gemara Tashma.
Just to avoid a problem.
That's my choice. Father and mother.
You're starting. Hold the thought. You're going in a good direction over here. I'm not sure we're going to get to it because the was going to say Baruch Hu, but let's see. Tashma, the Gemara brings right. I'm going back to the beginning of this question. It's Avraham Avinu said, and the truth is, she's a chaysi bas avi, my sister from the daughter of my father. Achloi bas imi, not the daughter of my mother. Is mashma. Mechlal de Basei Masura. It's mashma that the father, the daughter of the mother would be Asur. In fact, the Gemara, you're saying this is a kasha, but his brach, it doesn't make sense to start with the basa. She wasn't his sister, Sarah wasn't his sister, she was the sister, the daughter of his brother, she was his niece. And if that's the case, his niece is mutter, whether it's the father's side or the mother's side. So what was Avraham Avinu saying? Must be this is what he's saying. I have a relationship of brotherhood. In other words, it's considered through my. This is why I said achaysihi, because my relationship to her is through my brotherhood. Now I'll explain in a second why. And it happens to be from my father's side, not my mother's side, because that's how that relationship happened. Rashi explains a person's niece. The halacha is we say kabanim. So if a person has a son and that son has a daughter, then that daughter, his granddaughter, is like his daughter. So now, when the person has a niece, it's like his father's daughter, because it's his father's granddaughter. That's why it's considered. That's why he said it's like a chaysi. She's my sister.